Hey everyone, and welcome to this video. I'm Minxlaura123 and this is going to be my January reading wrap up. So basically in this video I'm going to be telling you about the books that I read in the month of January, a little bit about them, if I like them or not, etc, etc. So yeah, sit back, relax, enjoy the video, and if you do, please click like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel. That would be awesome. And hey, don't forget to smash the notification bell, then you can find out when I've uploaded new content and also when I'm doing live streams. So I've got my laptop here with my notes about each book that I read, and I've done that because I thought it would help me. Here's the thing, right? I love reading, but when it comes to doing these kind of reading, like book review videos, like I'm useless. Literally, I just ramble and yeah, it's not good. So I've got my notes here on my laptop, so I'm just going to kind of read from there. Also, by the way, let me know in the comments section down below what books you read in the month of January, and if you enjoyed them or not. You know, if you've got any book recommendations for me, let me know in the comments. I love getting your book recommendations. And if you are a bookworm, by the way, come and join my virtual book club on the Goodreads app. I'll put the link down below. It's called the Minx Book Club. Okay, right, let's get started with this reading wrap up. So the first book I read in the month of January was Ruth Ware, and it's called One by One. So it's a mystery thriller. I have read every book so far by Ruth Ware that she's done. I love her writing. I love her thrillers. She's such a good author. If you do enjoy reading thrillers, like I really, really, really recommend you check out Ruth Ware. Such a great author. So here we go. Okay, so One by One, set in a ski resort in France, a bonjour. It's a corporate staff retreat to discuss future of their company. So the company that they all work for and some of them own or partners in, etc., shareholders, is called, it's an app called Snoop. Okay, it's basically an app that you can listen, you can find out what other people are listening to music wise and stuff, and what kind of mood they're in and what music they're into, etc. So yeah, an avalanche hits the area. Okay, so there's this big drama of all the whole kind of avalanche thing going on, but also there's lies and secrets, and by Monday morning not all of the members of the staff are alive. So there's some twists, turns, but yeah, as I put on my notes here, there was a few like predictable parts in the book. I'm not going to give any spoilers, by the way, in this video, but yeah, there was a few characters that I kind of thought this would happen and then it did and things like that. But overall, it was really good and very exciting read, and I like the whole kind of vibe of being like in the ski resort and stuff like that. Wasn't as good as the previous books that I've read, but yeah, I did give it a 4-star, 4 out of 5. That's pretty good, right? The next book I read in January was The Year of Witching by Alexis Henderson. Really enjoyed this one. So this is a series. When I actually got this book, I thought it was only going to be like a standalone. And then I discovered it wasn't. It's actually a series called Bethel. And this is number 1 in the series. So it's about a girl. She's a really lovely character, by the way. I absolutely adored her character. So yeah, it's her name is Emmanuel Moore. And she's raised by Puritans, like in this really like ultra religious area, and so her family are really religious, everyone around her is really religious and really strict in the way that, you know, they all behave, especially the females in the area. So her mother died when she was a child, and her mother was kind of seen as an outcast for dating someone of a different race, and Emmanuel is kind of seen as a bit of an outsider too. Like some of the people are a bit funny with her as well. Other things happen in the story which I can't say because it might, you know, obviously, you know, give things away, which I don't want to do. But cut long story short, she ends up in the forbidden Darkwood forest, which is right near Bethel, and she goes there and she meets these kind of creepy, spooky witches, and they give her a diary that belonged to her mother, who died, and she learns that her mother was kind of working with the witches and things like that. And she also learns like these really grim truths about the church and the area's history, etc. So she wants to make a change. The ending of the book was really good, and it definitely leaves like that kind of cliffhanger for the next book. So I'll definitely be reading number 2. And I looked it up. The next book is called The Dawn of the Coven. So yeah, really good. Looking forward to number 2. Gave it a 4-star rating. Next book I read was Wonder Valley by Ivy Pachoda. So basically at the end of last year I read a book by the same author called These Women, and I absolutely loved it. It's a really, really good, intense thriller, really good. And after that book I thought I just want to kind of read everything this author's done, right, because I get like that. Unfortunately the other books that I've read by her haven't been nowhere as good as These Women, but anyway, this one was okay, but you'll hear further on in the video. There's another book I read by the author that I couldn't read. I DNF it. But anyway, Wonder Valley was the next book. So a teen runs away from his father's cult commune in the middle of nowhere. There are also various characters. They're all kind of connected in a way. Like they've all got completely different stories, different lifestyles, etc. But somehow they all kind of, you know, mingle and become one big story, which I did like. I did like that aspect of getting to know the different characters and stuff. So you've got this young boy who's just come out of jail and he's looking for his mother. There's twins who live on like the commune in the part of the cult and stuff, and their dramas, what they go through as brothers. Then you've got there's a girl who shows up at the commune harbouring these like dark and deadly secrets. There's this male lawyer who's kind of just bored of his own boring life and just, you know, wants to be a bit out there and have a different lifestyle. And there's this guy who's a drifter in the desert, and his best friend dies and stuff. It's like really weird. Like I can't even explain it. There's so many different characters with all their different stories. They do all to come together. But yeah, this author does write like really cinematic. Like her words really feel like, I don't know, like you're watching a film in your brain. It's really weird to describe, but I don't know. I found this book interesting, weird, but also at times quite disturbing, especially when it was coming to deal with things that were happening like in the cult kind of thing, and they were doing sacrificing with animals and stuff, which, you know, I find really disgusting. I'm a vegetarian. I don't want to hear about that. And it was really like graphic details. There's other scenes as well in the book that I found quite, you know, disturbing and uncomfortable to read, but it was good overall. I did enjoy it, so I did give it 4 stars because it was good but weird, but nowhere near as good as These Women. Next book I did really love, like really love, and I would have given it more than a 5 stars, but I couldn't because 5 stars is the highest you can vote. So it's by Kate Sias and it's called Open House. This was a thriller which, it felt like, I've put in my notes here, it felt like I was watching a true crime show on television, which, by the way, I love. Me and Nathan, my fiance, if those that are new here, we love watching the true crime shows. So yeah, this was literally like watching a show that, you know, but it was a book. And I've put here on my notes as well that the book is obviously fiction, but it felt just so real. Like it really did feel like an actual case that I was reading about. So basically 10 years ago, a woman goes missing from this small town. I love reading stories, by the way, in like these little kind of remote small towns and villages and stuff. I don't know why, but I do. So yeah, she goes missing from this small town. Unsolved mystery which still affects her family, friends, and her former teacher. So then we can skip forward to like present day, and her bracelet is found. This student finds her bracelet, and it's more than just a clue to the unsolved case. It's a trigger to all of the people that were involved in it and still involved in it. Then there's this open house that happens and a woman's attacked, and it's kind of like the two crimes, you know, are connected even though they're like completely, you know, years and years apart. I love the setting. I love the characters. It's just, yeah, full of twists and turns and the mystery, and yeah, really enjoyed it. Really good book. Definitely recommend Open House. Really good. Next book that I read in January was Poisoned by Jennifer Donnelly. So this, if you've heard of Jennifer Donnelly, she does young adult books, and I think she does adult books as well, but she's mainly known for young adult books. And the last book that I read by Jennifer Donnelly was called Stepsister. And that was like a retelling of Cinderella. Really good. And it's like a reimagining, remixed retelling of fairy tales, basically. So that one was on Cinderella. This book, Poisoned, was on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So yeah, another retelling, blah, 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 blah. I'm just reading my notes here. The evil queen sends Snow White, or actually in the book she's not called Snow White, she's called Sophie, into the woods where the huntsman gets out his knife and takes her heart out. Yeah, it did start off a bit like, a bit gory. However, she is not dead, and a group of 7 mysterious and very quirky strangers find her. They fix her, and basically, yeah, they save her life, and she lives with them, and she helps them, and they help her. But then Sophie kind of finds out who planned her murder, and it was the queen and stuff like that. So she wants to kind of seek revenge, and yeah, but the only problem is like she's really sweet. She's like ultra sweet and kind, and she doesn't want to be like, you know, nasty and stuff, but she does want that power. And this book shows that you don't have to be cruel and nasty to have power and to be a strong female. And she also requires some help from other people, including this lovely character. I can't remember his name, I'm sorry, but he was the guy in it, is kind of like the love interest, and he was really sweet as well. But also, like, you know, adored her and, you know, fought for her and stuff. But yeah, really good. I love the banter between like the seven dwarfs, or mysterious strangers, and Sophie was just a darling. Like, she was such a like sweet character. I did enjoy it, not as much as Stepsister, and I did find in this book there were parts of it which kind of dragged a little bit. I was like, come on, and a little bit predictable. But overall, I did really enjoy it, and I gave it a 4-star rating. By the way, I know I'm not one of these booktubers who has pictures of the books next to them when they talk. I know people love that, but I'm sorry, I'm really basic, right? I'm a basic minx, and I don't know how to edit. I literally edit on Movie Maker, like, seriously. But what I'll do, once I finish rambling, I'll add on pictures of all of the books that I mentioned. So you'll see the front covers, and also in the description box, I will put links to all of the books that I mentioned, so you can read up more about them, see people's reviews on them, etc, etc. Anyway, moving on. Next book I read was really weird. Okay, so this was a young adult thriller. Well, that's what it was kind of promoted as, and it's called Last One to Die by Cynthia Murphy. Now, as I say, I'd heard about this book for ages. I was really excited to read it, and it was kind of put out there as this new kind of, you know, One of Us is Lying, young adult thriller, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to be all over this. So I started off loving this book, and then at the end of this book, it just went, I'd say in the last, like, I don't know, four chapters or whatever, it just went this really weird, messed up direction that I was not expecting. And I know when I read reviews on Goodreads after I'd finished the book, other people were saying the same, like, where did that ending come from? That just didn't make any sense. It was really weird. But anyway, but. So what is it about? It's about this girl called Nima. She's from Ireland. She's 16 years old, and she's a drama student. So it all kind of takes place in London. Young brunette women have been attacked in the city of London. She's moved to London for education for the summer. She's also got like some work placement at this local Victorian museum, and she kind of, you know, obviously loves all the history and stuff, but she also gets to put her kind of drama skills to the test. They dress her up in like old-fashioned clothing, and she has to be like, you know, in character and stuff while she does the tours. So yeah, this is this weird mix of kind of current day serial killer attacks, because they're going after these brunette girls, but also past murders and stuff that's happened in the area as well. And they kind of start to collide from the past and the present. There's also this guy who's really, you know, kind of good looking, and she works with him and starts, you know, having a connection with him. I don't want to say too much about it because it, you know, I don't want to give spoilers, but it was very good at the beginning, and then it, as I say, it just took a really weird turn. Yeah, I don't want to say anymore because I really don't want to give it away, but it's worth a read. Like, I will say read it. I did give it a 4 stars. I was kind of leaning on like a 3 or 4. I wasn't sure, but because I really enjoyed the first part of the book, I did up it to a 4. I was being generous that day. I rated it. So the next book, unfortunately, I ended up DNFing. You know, I just couldn't read it. I had to give it up. I think I read like, I don't know, 6 chapters, and I was like, nah, not for me. So it's by Ivy Pachoda, which, as I say, is the author who did These Women, and the other book I mentioned previously, which I can't remember the name of. Ivy Pachoda, oh, Wonder Valley, there we go. So this was called Visitation Street, and looking it up online and stuff, this is her most like famous book apart from These Women. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. You know, it's got a really good rating, good write up and stuff. People seem to love it. It's kind of described as an urban book, an urban opera, gritty, magical, you know, book, which I thought sounded really interesting. But I just started reading these chapters and I was not feeling it. I didn't really like the characters. I don't know what happened. I just couldn't get into it. I did try and carry on, which I do. I don't just give up straight away. I do try and carry on, but my heart wasn't in it, and I was just getting bored. And yeah, so basically it's about these 2 girls. They're 15-year-old girls called June and Val. Val gets washed ashore, so she's found, but June isn't found, so it's like an ongoing mystery. And there's a really kind of diverse, you know, group of characters and stuff, and most of them become either suspects or they're kind of involved with, you know, the disappearance or the girl and stuff. I don't know. Do you know what? I didn't even read the back pages to find out what happens because I just didn't care. So that was, for me, I just didn't enjoy it. But the next book I did enjoy. It's all good because the next book I read was by Angie Thomas and it's called Concrete Rose. So for those of you that don't know, Angie Thomas wrote the massive best-selling book, which also was a film, which I would like to see actually. I haven't seen, called The Hate You Give. Really, really good book. I did enjoy it, but I have to say Concrete Rose is by far better than The Hate You Give. And I know people might be watching this thinking, no, you're wrong. That's just my opinion. We've all got opinions, right? I just really love this book so much more. So it's set before The Hate You Give, and it's the prequel. So yeah, I'm just reading my notes. I have to say, reading both, this one is far better. Maverick is the main character, and you get to just really like feel his emotions, feel his thoughts, and like I really connected with him, even though we've got like nothing in common. As soon as you read this book, you just, I don't know, you just become one with his character. Like you really feel what he's going through and kind of step into his shoes as such. He has to deal with so many things in this book, like seriously. It's not a big book, it's not like a massive book, but in that, like, I think I read it over a couple of days. I felt like I literally knew him inside out and what he was going through in his life, what he'd been through. It deals with things like him becoming a father, and friendship and grief and family, and also like his relationship and gang life, and like there's so much going on, and it was just such a good read. So really well wrote, really enjoyed it. I gave it a 5-star rating, loved it, and also loved the next book as well. So I had a real mix this month. Like most of them were good, and then there was a few I just didn't like and stopped reading. So the next one was by Sarah Shepherd and Lila Buckingham. So it's called Influence. And Sarah Shepherd is famous for writing the Pretty Little Liars series, which is also a TV series as well, which I would also want to check out. And yeah, so I know of her, but I don't know actually who Lila Buckingham is. I Googled her, and by the looks of it, she's kind of one of these young kind of social media starlets and stuff like that. So obviously she really did help with, this story, because it is based about, young social media stars. So mix the two, the author and the social media star author together, and you get this brilliant book. So, basically, this book was about 4 young social media girls, okay? Social media starlets, we'll call them. So all young girls, but all really different. So you've got Jasmine, who was a child star, and she's kind of turned media sensation. And the way they describe her in this book, she's literally JoJo. Like, JoJo with the big coloured bows. Like, without a doubt, this girl is definitely her. And I'm not going to give any spoilers away, but let's just say stuff that's been happening with JoJo recently in real life, yeah, it's definitely, Jasmine is based on her, in my opinion. If people knew, Jasmine is a child star turned media sensation. If people knew the real her, she'd be cancelled. Then we have Fiona, who is sweet and funny on the outside, but inside she's like a hot mess. Like, that girl has some, serious issues going on. Someone comes back from her past with secrets about her, and she could be ruined. Then you've got Scarlett Lee, who is deemed as like this perfect girl. So she's got like the perfect looks, perfect life, perfect relationship, etc. But she's not so perfect, and all is not what it seems. Then you've got Delilah, who is kind of like a normal basic girl, like she's just down to earth and stuff, and she happens to make this video with her friend. It goes viral, and then she's superstar and on the TV shows and social media star and going to all the meetups and things like that. So she's kind of having her life change on like a massive scale. But yeah, I love the girls in all their own kind of different ways. Some of them I love to hate, but I did love them all in their own way. And the dramas and the story. There is a thriller aspect to it as well, which I can't say because I don't want to ruin it. But yes, very, very, very good. I loved it. Influence, 5 stars from me. However, the next one I didn't like, which was called The Last Resort by Susie Holiday. This is another one of those books that I've been really excited to get. I've had a few of them this month that I've been proper hyper to get it and read it, and then I'm just like, let down. This was just really weird. I DNF'd this book really early on. I remember sitting there, I think I'd read about 2 or 3 chapters, and I was just looked at my Nathan, I was like, I can't read this. I just can't do it. I'm just not enjoying it. So I stopped reading it. Where do we start? So I just thought this was really stupid, really silly, really weird. I love a good thriller, but this one was just way too unbelievable, just odd, basically. So there's this group of strangers, and yeah, they don't know each other, obviously, because they're strangers, and they get this letter from this mysterious company, and they invite them to this like resort and stuff, and no one knows why they're there, and they don't know each other. And then they get these I've lost my note, hold on. Oh yeah, they get these memory trackers kind of implanted into them, which, you know, you would do, wouldn't you? Of course, you don't know who's doing it, but yeah, let's just plant a, you know, memory tracker in me. And the memory trackers kind of show up everyone's thoughts and dark stuff they've done in the past and bad things and their memories and that. And it was just really bizarre. It was odd, so I stopped reading it. I was not liking it at all. Next book I did enjoy, that was good. It was by Catherine Ryan Howard, and it was called Rewind. And really great cover, by the way. Really good cover. And in between each chapter, they had like play button, pause, stop, rewind, forward. Like, it was really cool. There were parts of the story where you're going in the past, and then there were parts of the story in the, you know, current day, and then back forth. Like, it was really, really good. So it's about this. Oh, it's about a few different characters, like 3 main characters in this story, right? So you've got Creepy Andrew, who's really freaking creepy, and he's the manager of the Shannamore Holiday Cottages. Yeah, he watches his only guest on a hidden camera, and that's just freak in itself, isn't it? And that hidden guest that he's watching is an Instagram celebrity lady. She's like a celebrity wife and stuff like that, and she's, you know, really, really popular. People seem to love her. And she's staying at the cottages to find out secrets about her husband, who she's been told has had an affair, and he stayed at the cottages. So she's gone to the cottages to kind of find out information and find things and stuff. And while she's there, she gets murdered. And yeah, because he's filming the room on his like hidden creepy secret camera, he sees her getting murdered, but he doesn't see who murders her, because it's like this dark shape over the camera, and then the camera is destroyed. So it's got to be someone who knew he had the cameras there in the first place. He was a really creepy character. I won't say any more, but he was just really uncomfortable to read about him, actually. And then there's this journalist. She was quite a cool character, and she's on this kind of story to find out what happened to this internet star, where's she gone, and then they find out she's murdered, who murdered her. So you've got those 3 kind of characters and other characters as well thrown into the mix. Really, really good thriller. I give it a 4 out of 5. I was tempted to give it a 5, but the only reason I didn't give it a 5 is because there was a few parts that I kind of like halfway I was getting a little bit like it was predictable, and I could see how it was going to go, but it was really good, and I would definitely read books by this author in the future. So the next book I read, also loved, The Burning Girls by CJ Tudor. And there's another author that I've literally read all of her books. Great author. And yeah, this was really good. Like, I really enjoyed this. I read this book really quick. It was a big hardback thriller, horror thriller, and I read it literally in a couple of days. Like, it was really good. So it's about this unconventional vicar and her daughter. Now, at the beginning of the book, the way it's wrote, you think the vicar's a man, but then you find out quite early on, so I'm not giving spoilers, you find out early on that it's actually a lady vicar and her daughter. And basically she's sent to this little remote corner of the English countryside because the vicar who was at the church there, he has killed himself, and it's all a bit weird. So she's there to kind of cover until they find a replacement, like, you know, vicar. She's also kind of escaping her own kind of, you know, past and issues that have gone on with her. I can't say because it's spoilers, but stuff that's happened in her life. So she's kind of let me go to the countryside and escape everything in my own life. But while she's there, this like area is just, she finds out it's just really weird. And there's got these like weird rituals of burning little dolls and stuff. So basically 500 years ago, 8 Protestant martyrs were burned at the stake, and then 30 years ago 2 teenage girls disappear without a trace. So when she gets there with her daughter, who I loved, her daughter Flo, I absolutely love that character, yeah, they find this exorcism kit and stuff, and there's just weird stuff left behind in the house and stuff, and in the church. The girl Flo also sees these like ghost girls, so like it is a mix of thriller and horror as well. It definitely gave me some creepy dreams that night, I'll tell you. The first night I read it, I was like, ooh. Yeah, Flo makes some new friends and enemies while she's there, but it's really good. I loved it. I really, really loved it. So definitely 5 stars. As I said, I've read all of CJ Tudor's books, so I don't know what she's going to bring out next, but I'll definitely be reading it. Okay, we've got a few more to go. Hope you're still awake, by the way. So the next book I read was by Laura Purcell, who wrote one of my favourite books, actually, that I've read in years, which was The Silent Companions. That was just such an amazing story. If you've not read The Silent Companions, seriously, check it out. It's such a beautiful, creepy, eerie book. It's beautiful. But this one's called The Shape of Darkness, and it's set in Victorian Bath. Okay, not as in a bath, we have a bath, but the area of Bath. So it's about this lady called Agnes. She's a silhouette artist. And photography is just kind of starting, but she's kind of old school and she likes doing all her silhouettes and stuff like that. And she's trying to like struggle to keep her business afloat, and also to look after and provide for her mum, who's elderly, and also her nephew, who is quite cute. He's got a cute, sweet character. So she's trying to like look after him and her mum and stuff. But then one of her clients is murdered, and then another one. And then another one, and she's kind of like, you know, why is this killer seemingly targeting her and her business and stuff? So then she meets this young girl who's absolutely adorable. She's so sweet, called Pearl, and Pearl is a spirit medium, and she lodges with like her dad, who's like really, really ill, and also with her stepsister, who is like no, I won't swear, she's horrible, let's put it like that. She's the evil stepsister. And yeah, so they meet up, and then basically together they open this door to the other side. Lots of, you know, spooky, creepy things happen. They try and discover who's doing the murders. I can't say anymore because it really does give the ending away, but there's just such a weird twist at the end I did not see coming. Seriously, it was such a weird twist at the end. I was like, like open mouth, like, oh, really, really good. I absolutely loved it. 5 stars, definitely 5 stars for The Shape of Darkness. Unfortunately, the next 2 books I'm going to mention now, I did DNF. I had to stop reading them. First one was by Steve Camden, and it's called Nobody Real. Now, I read a book several years back called Tape by him, and it was just so good. He kind of writes in like a lyrical vibe kind of thing. It's not poetry, but it's, I can't explain it. It's just got such a lyrical vibe. That's the only word I can say. But it's his writing style is great. However, this book I just could not get into. I didn't understand it. I didn't like it. The cover of the book was beautiful. Like, I love the cover, but the actual words were not for me. So yeah, I just put on here, I had to DNF this book. Yeah, I just didn't get it. So this book is about a girl called Marcy and her imaginary friend called Thor. Even that is like, no, I love the idea of reading about an imaginary friend. Like, I think that's so fascinating, and you know, what a cool idea for a story, reading about an imaginary friend. But it just all got a bit weird, where I didn't know if the imaginary friend was an imaginary friend, or if they were real, or if she was real. I just got confused really early on. And it's all about changes that are happening in her life and decisions she has to make, and I just couldn't be doing it. I was like, nah, sorry, it's not for me. So I did stop reading that one. And the other book that I had to stop reading, which I was really gutted about actually, was Girl A by Abigail Dean. Now, if you're a regular viewer of my book videos, I know there are a few of you out there, I was mega excited about receiving Girl A. I'd ordered it on Waterstone's website. I was really hyper happy when it turned up in the post. Had beautiful yellow sprayed edges, like, yeah. Unfortunately, I literally stopped reading it. I think I read about 2-3 chapters and I had to just stop reading it. So this book, it's about this girl whose mother has died in prison. Okay, her mother and father were like really horrible, They were abusers, they were murderers, they were just horrible people. And I think the dad died back in the day, but the mother has only recently passed. And the main character, I can't even remember her name, she's left as executor to the will, and so she has to kind of make all the arrangements, sort out, you know, with her other siblings who gets what. And at the same time as doing that, she kind of, you know, they all have to kind of deal with, you know, what happened in their awful, troubled childhoods. I just found it really disturbing. Like, I actually felt very anxious reading it. It made me like really uncomfortable, and they were quite graphic in describing things, which I'm not going to go into in this video, but describing how they were abused. And there was also a scene in the book where the main character like meets this guy, and I just found that really uncomfortable. Like, it was, everything about this book basically made me feel uncomfortable early on, and I thought it's only going to get worse. I shouldn't be feeling anxious when I'm reading. Reading is supposed to make you feel relaxed and, you know, happy, but I just had to stop reading it. It's just too triggering, too upsetting. And it just, yeah, made me feel uncomfortable. So, yeah, really sad because, as I say, I was really looking forward to that one. However, the last book, actually, I'm going to press pause because it's over there. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. I was going to say, I've actually got this book so I can actually hold it up and stuff. So this was the last book I read in January, and it's called The Manifesto on How to Be Interesting by Holly Bourne. Really cool cover, loving like the black and orange, and you've got the orange sprayed edges here. So yeah, I love Holly Bourne books. Let me know in the comments if you've read her before. She's done so many books over the years, and I've read a lot of them. And luckily, I've still got like 3 on my bookcase upstairs that I haven't read yet. So that's cool. I can read them. So this one was about, like, I loved it, by the way. I absolutely loved it. This one was about a girl called Bree, who is kind of a bit of a loner, a bit of kind of emo kind of character. She thinks she's boring. She doesn't fit in with anyone apart from her best friend, who's also a bit odd and weird and also a bit of a loner. And she just thinks she's a bit of a nobody. So she writes this list called the Manifesto on how to kind of, become more popular, how to be liked, how to be more interesting and stuff like that. And this manifesto basically changes everything in her life. She becomes frenemies with the girls who've like bullied her and made her life hell for years. She flirts with the class heartthrob, is actually absolute arse. And she also gets involved in a relationship with someone she really shouldn't, like proper taboo kind of relationship. And yeah, this book is about like finding out who you really are and like learning things in life the hard way. Sometimes we have to do that. Sometimes we have to figure out who we are the hard way. And I mean, this book I read in about a day and a half. Like, I literally could not put it down. One evening I was sitting reading it and I was like, my eyes were getting tired. I was tired, but I could not put it down. So good. So yeah, absolutely love this and gave it 5 stars. So there we go. They're the books that I read. Carry on watching, as I say, for pictures of the front covers of all the books I've mentioned, and also down below description box all the links to each book so you can read out more about them and reviews and stuff like that. So you're probably thinking, what is the book of your month, Laura? What is the book of your month? What did you like in the best? Maybe you're not thinking that at all. Maybe you don't care. I don't know. But if you are thinking, what is your book of the month? Let me tell you, it's this one. It had to be this one, didn't it? However, it was close because I really did enjoy Open House, and I really did enjoy Concrete Rose. I enjoyed Rewind. Like, there were so many I did enjoy. Influence was good, but I have to go for this one because there was just something about the character, and I really did connect with her and stuff. I've always felt myself like a bit of a loner and a bit of a weirdo and outcast. So I don't know, I kind of connected with her and stuff, and yeah, it was good. So this was my book of the month by Holly Bourne. Okay, so really quickly, I'm just going to show you the book. By the way, a viewer of mine actually suggested that Nathan, my fiance, I keep saying that in case anyone's new here, that Nathan picks me a book, like a mystery book from my bookcase. So I don't know what it is. He's just going to go around my different bookcases and find me a book. And I thought, you know what, that's a really good idea. And funnily enough, the book of the month, which was that one, is actually the book he chose. He was just drawn, I think, to the orange and the black of the cover. And yeah, so that was the book he chose for me. And he's done it again for the month of February. So hopefully it'll be as good as that one, right? So this one he chose was from the bookcase in our bedroom. This is by Karen Perry, and it's called Can You Keep a Secret? I remember getting this book, actually. I think I got it in Smith's or something, but I remember getting it and thinking, oh, I've got to read that. And then, like a lot of the other books I have, it just gets kind of put on the bookcase and I just forget about them. But I really am looking forward to read this one. So she wrote the book Girl Unknown, which I really, really enjoyed. I remember that one. So yeah, this is, as I say, a thriller. It's by Karen Perry, and loving that cover of the girl just walking in there with the gates. So I'll read you quickly what it's about. It says, it's time for a reunion. Lindsay hasn't spoken to Rachel in 20 years, not since their brother's 18th birthday party at their parents' remote country house. Another remote area. A night that shattered so many friendships and left Rachel's father dead. Now Thornbury Hall is up for sale, and the old gang are back there together again. A weekend to say goodbye to the place and to talk about the past. But 20 years of secrets aren't given up lightly. Some won't speak about what happened that night, while others want to ensure that no one does. Surviving the weekend might depend on whether you can keep a secret. So, yeah, full of intrigue, apparently. Ooh. Yeah, I really like Girl Unknown, so yeah, that is the book that Nathan has selected for my February read. I'm obviously, as I said, I'm doing that book club, the Minx Book Club on Goodreads. So the subject for February, if you want to join in, you've got all month to choose this book, by the way, of your choice. It's just the theme that we choose in the book club, and the theme for February is like love, romance, passion, because of course it is Valentine's Day on the 14th. So like, it can be any genre. You can read a real kind of sweet, lovey-dovey book, you know, chick flick kind of story, or you could have like a thriller with a bit of love and passion, or maybe a fantasy romance or whatever. But anyway, that, if you want to join in, that is the book of the month kind of theme. So I've got to choose out of my bookcase what one to read, because I've got a mixture of all different stories, so I'll just find one with a bit of love or romance. And last but by no means least, this is the book I'm currently reading, in case anyone's interested. It's by 4 different thriller authors, and I've never read a book like it because I love thrillers, so you know, this is great. Like, I just love the idea of getting 4 brilliant thriller authors together and writing this book together. So each chapter, like each character, is told from that different author. So like, you really do get a different mix of writing style, even though it all feels like it's one, if that makes sense. Like, there is a slight difference, but it doesn't feel too different, like you're reading a different book kind of thing. It all kind of slots in nicely. It's really good. It's called The Understudy. So authors wise, you've got B.A. Paris, Claire McIntosh, Holly Brown and Sophie Hannah. So I've read B.A. Paris. I love Sophie Hannah books. I've got a couple of Claire McIntosh books upstairs on my bookcase in the spare room, but I've never read Holly Brown. So, you know, I definitely like a writing style in here. And each chapter you read, it does say who has wrote that that chapter. For example, number 2 is Let the Show Begin, and it's by B.A. Paris. So you can read each chapter, you know who's wrote it. This is just such a good book. Like, I'm really enjoying it. It says, how far would you go to protect your daughter? So you've got the 4 mums, who are Carolyn, Bronnie, Elsie and Kendall. So I'm really bunged up tonight. My sinuses are playing up, but anyway. So yeah, Carolyn, Bronnie, Elsie and Kendall are bound together by one thing. They're 4 daughters. So the daughters are best friends at this highly competitive Orla Flynn Academy for the Performing Arts. Every time I think of performing arts, I just think of fame, you know, fame. I want to live for... Anyway, so Imogen Curwood is a new girl at the academy, and her behaviour is very odd from the start. So on the day she arrives, bad things start to happen. As one threatening incident follows another, the 4 mothers begin to ask themselves, are their girls in danger? When an attempted murder rocks the school, Imogen is pleased to report that she has an alibi. So if she isn't the guilty party, someone else must be. Caroline, Bronnie, Elsie and Kendall are determined to uncover the truth and protect their daughters. But are they prepared to risk their own secrets being exposed? Honestly, it's really good. I love the fact of the mothers with the daughters. I love the fact of like the friends all like together and stuff. And, you know, it's just really good. And also this character Imogen, honestly, she's a creepy character. She is proper like, ooh, like kind of stalker, just weird. So yeah, really enjoying that. I think I'm like halfway through now, or just over halfway. Let's have a look. Yeah, just about halfway really. So I might get that done tonight. If not, I'll definitely have it done by tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to read next. Maybe the book Nathan picked, or maybe something else. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I want to do this again next month, and I like having the notes on the laptop next to me because it just helps me, because otherwise I just ramble. I mean, I ramble anyway, but I ramble even more with no notes to help me. Listen, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Please click like, comment, share, subscribe, smash the bell. Don't forget to check out my second YouTube channel, which is MinxLaura123 ASMR. Links down below to that. And as I say, carry on watching. There'll be pictures of all of the books that I mentioned, so you can see what they look like, and links down below to all of them as well to find out more. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.